Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Trey Gowdy and it's Sunday night in America. Donald Trump said our justice system needs change, and he's doing just that, dismissing prosecutors and FBI agents. The left suddenly likes cops and prosecutors. I don't remember the left defending cops when rioters were throwing rocks and bottles and looting or setting things on fire, but miracles can happen. Here's FBI nominee Kash Patel on what the FBI will be like.
Do you believe in the adage that two wrongs don't make a right, but they do make it even?
Senator, I think if anyone commits a wrong in government service, the American public deserve to know the absolute secular detail of that corrupt activity.
When reforming the FBI and the Justice Department, two wrongs don't make a right, but they do make it even is the wrong approach, isn't it?
That's correct.
And we're going to hold you accountable for that.
I hope you do.
Senate Intel questioned Tulsi Gabbard on FISA and search warrants and Edward Snowden. Gabbard is up for D&I, which oversees the intelligence community and advises the president on national security.
So, Ms. Gabbard, tell us, how has your thinking on Section 702 developed over time?
The national security capability that is provided by Section 702 that enables this foreign surveillance on non-U.S. persons overseas is critical. My commitment is to make sure that our national security tools are maintained to fulfill that requirement while also protecting Americans' Fourth Amendment rights.
You consistently praise the actions of Edward Snowden. You even called Edward Snowden, and I quote here, a brave whistleblower. Do you still think Edward Snowden is brave?
Edward Snowden broke the law.
Robert Kennedy Jr. is nominated to head HHS. He's sparred with senators over vaccines and trial lawyers and the pharmaceutical industry and the origin of life. Kennedy was once a harsh critic of Donald Trump, calling him a terrible president, a threat to democracy, and appalling, but Kennedy had a change of heart or else really wants a job. I don't think there's ever been a doctor running our legal system, but there may soon be a trial lawyer running our healthcare system. These nominees face committee votes. If the committee approves, the full Senate votes. One person paying close attention is the chair of the House Judiciary Committee, Jim Jordan, from the great state of Ohio. Welcome, Chairman. It's great to see you as always.
You bet. Good to be with you, Trey.
All right, you've known Kash Patel for many years. I thought he did a really good job explaining why the Bureau needs to change and how he would do it. What did you think?
No, I thought he was confident. I thought he was composed and did a tremendous job taking the questions from both sides. And you and I know that Kash Patel is committed to protecting our liberty and making sure the FBI does their job and is focused on not politics, but going after the bad guys. But for him, and you were part of this, you were on the Intel committee at the time, but for him, we would have never known what this whole Russia collusion thing, Russia-Trump collusion, was a bunch of baloney. He put together that memo. He knows how to do the work that you're supposed to do in law enforcement, not this political operation that we've seen from the FBI, where they're saying if you're a pro-life parent, Catholic, you need to be investigated. If you're a parent showing up at your school board meeting, you need to be investigated, and on it goes. So Kash did a great job, and he's going to do an even better job when he's confirmed as the director of the next director of the FBI.
I know you prefer being introduced as an NCAA All-American wrestler, which you were, but the truth is you also have a law degree, which I know that you like to keep a secret, but now I'm sharing with the world. So how would you change the FBI if Kash called you and said, look, Jim, you actually are a lawyer, even though you've kept that a secret. How should I change the FBI? What would you tell them?
Go back to focusing on what the American people think the FBI should be doing. Right now, Trey, there's about $11 billion budget at the FBI. Over half of that is spent on intel, counterterrorism. And I understand that's part of the mission now of the FBI, but more than half the resources both in staff and in agents and in money is spent to that. How about going after organized crime? How about going after bad guys? How about helping deal with the things most Americans think the FBI should be focused on instead of this foreign intelligence issue and the political stuff that they've been involved with over the last several years. So I think that is a sort of fundamental focus. Couple basic reforms we want. We want protections for whistleblowers to come talk to us. We had a number of FBI agents come talk to us as whistleblowers, and they were retaliated against by the FBI. We also think when the FBI interviews someone, there should be an audio recording of that interview so they can't play games with the 302 like they did with Michael Flynn and others. So those are some of the key things that we think need to change that I think Kash will do when he's confirmed.
All right, Kash Patel promised to be more cooperative with Congress. Are there outstanding requests for information from your committee directed at either Main Justice or the Bureau that have yet to be responded to?
Yeah, I want to know who planted the pipe bombs on January 6th, any information he has on that. We got pictures and video of this guy who supposedly did it. Why don't we know who this is? I want to know about the 26 confidential human sources who were there on January 26th. 17 went in restricted space. They weren't allowed to do that. Excuse me, 4 went in the Capitol. They weren't permitted. They didn't have authorization to do that. 2 of the 4 who went in the Capitol were asked by the FBI to be there that day. I want to know how long these guys have been confidential human sources for the FBI, how much they've been paid, were they paid that day, how much were they paid, how did they go into the Capitol? Were they some of the first people in? Did they go in through the door? Did they go in through a broken window? All kinds of questions we have about those individuals that we need answers to. I want to know in the David Weiss investigation some of the things that he would not answer when we deposed him, like why they didn't go after the tax years on Hunter Biden when he was getting all the money from Burisma, why they let the statute of limitations lapse for that. So there are tons of, I want to know Jay Bratt, who worked for Jack Smith, why he said to a lawyer representing a defendant in the classified documents case, why he said to that lawyer, we didn't know you were a Trump guy. We thought you were interested in this federal judge position. I mean, those are questions I want to know, and I think the American people want answers to those questions. So we want all that information. We're going to work with Pam Bondi. We're going to work with Kash Patel. We're going to work with Todd Blanche, all the people of the Justice Department to get answers to those key questions that I think the country, the people, have a right to understand.
Chairman, I think you are going to find a much more responsive Department of Justice and Bureau. You mentioned Pam Bondi and Kash Patel. I'll be very surprised if you don't get the information that you are and have been looking for. Jim Jordan from the great state of Ohio, Chairman of Judiciary, thank you for joining us on a Sunday night.